Let's go.
I think the difference is though is that I'd say almost any woman, if she was so inclined, well, for starters, could certainly get laid pretty much any night she wants.
Mm-hmm.
But
Correct.
I'd say to bring it forward, even almost any girl could probably sleep with 2, 3, 4 guys in a night.
Yeah.
Whereas for a guy to be able to do that, you gotta be, I'd say, pretty good looking or have some pretty serious game.
Yeah.
I don't think any boy can sleep with any girl. I think some men will totally divergence.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
if you walk, there's so much more if you were a girl, you walked up to a guy on the street. I think you guys did that video one time. And you're
Yeah,
do you want to come have with me?
They'd be like,
They would probably
yes.
be like, okay, right
Mhm,
now? Or,
mhm.
okay, let's go.
We've
And then a
done
boy
that.
did that, they'd be like,
get away
pervert,
from
like,
me.
yeah.
You freak.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
exactly.
I feel like when it comes to girls can get easily laid, but I think it's harder for girls to find a guy who's willing to have a relationship with her.
Mhm.
I feel like for guys, it's more, they have a harder time getting laid, but they have an easier time once they find a girl to get into a
Erroneous.
relationship.
Erroneous.
Disavow. I disagree. I mean,
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think they both kind of, especially in today, I think one follows the other. If you have difficulty getting laid, you're going to have difficulty getting a relationship.
If you have
I think women have the advantage in both realms, both getting sex and getting a relationship. I think where women have trouble when it comes to getting a relationship, it's getting a relationship from the guy you want.
yeah.
Well,
That's very
besides that,
true.
I also feel like a guy who's getting laid is also a guy who's not really ready to settle down and have a relationship because he's like, oh, I'm getting laid, so I can probably get laid multiple times. Why commit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel like for a guy though, let's just say you found a girl who is you able to get laid with her, right? And you're able to talk. I feel like a lot more girls are actually willing to commit and have a relationship compared to guys. So I feel like if a guy is ready and he finds a girl who's, willing to sleep with him and just pay him attention, they could potentially build a relationship.
Wait, can you repeat that first part? You think that it's easier repeat the first part of that.
I forgot.
You said it's harder. Fuck,
Okay,
it slipped my mind
I'll
too.
try to say it. So for girls, for ladies,
Yeah.
it is easier to get laid. It's easy for ladies to have sex. It is harder for them to find someone who's ready to settle down and have a relationship with.
Okay.
Okay? For a guy, if you are ready to settle down and have a relationship with, you can find a girl who's ready to sleep with you and have a relationship.
That's true. I feel like.
I'm not so sure about that.
Here's why,
I'm not so
Brian.
sure
I
about
think it's a
that.
certain
There-
kind of guy.
Well, of course, because majority of the guys probably would not want to settle down if they're willing, if they're able to get laid multiple times, right? Like a guy who is able to get laid every week with a different girl is probably not going to be not want to settle down and stuff like that. But if a guy does want to settle down, he can go find a girlfriend, get laid, and also be able to manage to build a relationship with that girl. Because more girls are willing to
Have a relationship.
have relationships.
Than men.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure if that's true. I think there's plenty of men that are very prepared to have relationships. I just think a lot of women overlook a lot of men.
That's
And I think
Probably,
a,
yeah.
I agree with
I think
that.
I do agree.
a lot of
I
women
do
are
agree.
looking at like a pretty high tier of men and disregarding a
Not even high
large.
tier.
Yeah, I was about to say not even high tier. It could be like average guys. Like
It's just
Well, hold on. Are you talking about online dating or IRL? Because that plays a role.
Well, yes, there's certainly differences between online dating
Yeah.
and IRL. But for example, if you look at online dating, which is actually how most people are actually meeting
Correct.
nowadays, they've released some statistics on this, and I think the majority of relationships originated online. So whether that's a dating app or meeting through Instagram, whatever it may be, Instagram's kind of a dating app. But it's not clear to me that men have an easier time getting relationships. Perhaps the top 20%,
1%. No,
top
less than
20, top 10% of men, they could easily get a relationship, but I think a lot of them don't have the incentive because that category of men, that cohort of men, as you said, it's fairly relatively easy for them to get laid.
So when it comes to online dating, I think we have to be a little bit more careful because when you look at online dating, there's actually more men using it compared to women. So there is a very small pool of women who are actually using online dating to find partnership. And typically, those small percentage of women are willing to swipe right to very small percentage of men. So those pool of women actually swipe right to 1% of men because those 1% of men are considered to be better looking, probably have more, well written down bios and etc. Because again, majority of the time when it comes to online dating, you're judging them off profile, what they look like. So that's why a very small percentage, 1% of men actually get swiped right. And majority of men actually get lost in the online dating, which is true. So when it comes to online dating, you have to work on your profile picture. You have to actually work on your bio because that's what you're based off. But if that doesn't work out, then you should try IRL.
Well, I mean, it depends what dating app, but I mean, I think
majority of them.
Well, like Tinder, I think actually women are pickier when it comes to physical appearance than men are.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Again, but again, when you actually have only the physical attraction to base everything off of course you're gonna choose that.
Well, but I mean that kind of just reinforces that women are, even though you say women are more desirous of relationships, well, then why do they continue to keep chasing after this like top 5, top 10% of men on the dating apps?
Because they believe they can settle them down.
That they can find that one, that they can change them. Like
but
exactly.
But even women know that like a lot of these guys are or whatever the term is.
You would hope so, but I feel like a lot of ladies, especially at the young age, might be a little immature, might have lacking experience when it comes to dating, not really aware of what people really like.
I think a lot of people, and me personally, being one of these people,
into the mic.
I think a lot of females don't realize that they're actually the emotionally unavailable one, which is why they attract emotionally unavailable men. Me being one of the people who had to look myself in the mirror and be like, wow, this is weird. Why are things like this coming up? And I'm like, oh shit. Literally, it's because I was the emotionally unavailable one, because I was always like looking for the next best thing or looking for something else or intrigued and trying to go find something else and da-da-da. So yeah.
So you're saying you were looking for something besides a relationship?
Because with an immature mindset, you're constantly looking for the next best thing, whether that's of a superficial standpoint, where it's like a financial means, where
like,
it's
can I do better?
That's a very immature mindset.
I agree. Yeah.
Instead of looking for a person that's going to fit perfectly with your life.
I agree.
And that's why I got out of my 5-year relationship, is because I started looking for the next best thing, even though like I had everything, pretty much.